Good evening. I'd like to call to order this regular meeting of the Board of Education, the Ballston Spa School District for September 3rd, 2025. Can we all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'd like to welcome those watching on the live stream, welcome those who are here in person. For those of you who are in attendance in person, if for any reason we had to evacuate the library, there is the entrance out into the hallway at the front of the library, and behind me in either corner we have doors that lead outside. So I'd like to welcome everyone back to the new school year. And in this exciting time of the year, tomorrow is our first day of instruction. We'll be welcoming all of our students back to all of our schools. We had our district opening ceremony for staff on Tuesday, and it was a great event. A lot of positive energy, a lot of staff members talking about really looking forward to getting back to doing what they do best, which is supporting our students here. September also means the delivery of our annual school tax bills. And so I want to say again how seriously this board and this district take our responsibility to set responsible budgets, to deliver value for our taxpayer ask, and to educate and prepare all of our students to become citizen ready to join and be a positive force in our community. And we thank everyone for their support. And again, just stress that we really understand the fiscal part of this, and that for many folks, it is an important part of their lives, and that we, again, want to make sure that we're delivering the best value we can and making sure that we really have a great presence here with our staff as an employer and for all of our students and within the community. And so that's my opening comments. Do we have recognition tonight?
Really, we are ready to go tomorrow, and really the summertime is really about operations. So I wanted to take a brief moment to thank our operations from facilities and maintenance and grounds, and our folks over at transportation who really do a tremendous amount of work over the summer to make sure our buildings are looking great, our grounds are looking great, our buses are ready to go. A lot of times they kind of go unnoticed, but without them, we could not open school as smoothly as anticipated. So we're off to a great start these past few days, and really thank you to those folks who worked hard all summer to make sure that we are ready to go and make sure our kids are successful.
Absolutely. Thank you very much to all our support staff. It's the first time in our agenda for public comment. Do we have anyone signed up for public comment? We do not. This would be our student government report. Our student government, they're probably in bed early tonight, getting ready for school tomorrow. Thank you. And our approval of minutes. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes for the August 20th, 2025 regular meeting?
So moved.
Any amendments or additions? Not hearing any. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The minutes are approved, and we are at our superintendent's report. Dr. Duca.
Thank you. So we've alluded to it for quite some time, and it's been one of the district goals for a couple of years, but tonight we will be presenting the scope, schedule, and budget range of our upcoming proposed capital project. And so I'd like to welcome Rich Peckham to the podium here. He is from CS Arch. And he will be taking us through a presentation which will cover a lot of different points and updates and improvements. And so we are officially launching our capital project for Ballston Spa. Take it away, Rich.
Thank you, Superintendent, members of the board. It's a pleasure to be here tonight to kind of walk you through what we've been planning, working with the administration, the facilities committee on now, probably for over a year now that we've been working on developing this. And tonight we're going to put forth the proposed plan for your consideration and questions.
You have a clicker right
So just a brief agenda for what we're going to cover. We want to go through the project scope, want to talk about a big picture overall schedule, and then look at a budget range for the projects. We're going to walk through, starting with the high school, the scope of work in the building, and you can kind of see the areas of the building where we're going to be doing significant work proposed. We've got some storage in the CTE area that we're going to be working on there, as well as, it doesn't show up real well, but basically the only academic space in the high school that's not currently air conditioned is the metal shop. So we're planning on adding air conditioning to the metal shop. The band, wrong button. The band and chorus room will receive a new sound system. The gymnasium, we're going to add air conditioning to that. The district's goals that we've been working on is to air condition the large spaces, the gyms, cafeterias, auditoriums, media centers, so that if you do hit those days when you're supposed to vacate classrooms because they get too hot, you can bring all the students to those large spaces instead of air conditioning all of the individual classrooms. Media center renovations, we'll look at a plan of what we're talking about here as far as media center renovations to enhance the use of this space. We already touched on the metal shop air conditioning. One of the things is the high school is currently air conditioned, the majority of it, but the chillers and the cooling towers that provide the cooling for the building are original to the building for the most part, and therefore we're going to be replacing those to make sure that facilities continue on. Auditorium, again, most of the auditorium, the seats, the curtains, everything are original to the construction here. So we're looking at doing renovations in the auditorium. We're going to look at building a new fitness center. In this area, and what that's going to mean is the small fitness center that's here, they'd like to take down the wall between the wrestling gym and the fitness center to make a larger, more useful space there. So that's what's identified there. And then a wellness and fitness center we'll look at a little more detail on in a future slide there. As far as the plan of this high school media center, really 3 elements or 4 elements that we're working on here. In this area right here, we're looking at constructing a couple small group study and project rooms for groups to be able to sign up and work in those. The area up in the corner here is currently resources for teacher and teacher development, but it's just open to the rest of the library right now. We're looking at making that its individual separate room there. And then the office and workroom that are up in the far corner, we're going to combine all that space together to make it more flexible and useful for the librarians there. And then in the computer classroom in the back, the windows you see there, they're going to be taken out and filled in with a solid wall to make that completely separate from the media center. One of the major elements that we're going to construct is an addition to provide a larger, more useful wellness and fitness center. This will be not only used by the athletes for their training, but also as part of the physical education program for that lifelong fitness skills. So this is an addition here off the back of the building. It includes an open area for aerobics and other activities there, and then a combination of cardio equipment and weight training equipment. And all of that, we haven't worked out the details of exactly those layouts, but that'll be worked out with the athletic director as we go forward. Here's just a couple renderings of what this fitness center may look like. Again, this is the open area here where they can do stretching and other activities there, and then the overall weight area and the cardio area of the fitness center. Now I'm going to move to the exterior and look at the overall site plan for the high school and the middle school. This kind of gives you the overall big picture scope. And then we'll look at a couple slides with a little more detail there. So the major elements of what we're doing with this project is proposed to create a turf field at your main, I call it the stadium field right now. To get the size turf there, we're going to actually relocate the track, so it will just be a multi-purpose field at that location. The track will be moved to the back here, where we're proposing a new 8-lane track where the existing is only 6 lanes. And we'll also provide lights and turf inside on that field. We're going to relocate and expand the tennis courts, going from 8 courts to 10 courts, and put those in this area. And then the existing tennis court area, we will convert that to additional parking for the middle school and high school in the field area. We're also, number 5 is to create a new left turn only lane out of the student parking lot for safety reasons, to get the students being able to pull out there without having to go through the rest of the traffic. And then again, as a safety feature, item 6 is we're going to install a fence all the way along the property line between the high school, middle school property and the adjacent property, to prevent anybody coming from neighboring properties onto the high school. Just looking at a little bit of more detail of the main field. In addition to the main field, we're also going to be providing larger visitor bleachers by taking the track out. One of the reasons to take the track out, it gives us room to be able to provide those additional bleachers between Garrett Road and the field. We had looked at an option to put a new 8-lane track here with the field inside of it, but you end up having to move everything, including concessions and home bleachers and everything. So it was a considerable effort there. The press box is going to be replaced with a 2-story press box, so you can have home team press box on one level and visitors on the other level. We looked at making it longer, but the way bleachers are set up and how the press box work with them, it would have required some significant work on the bleachers to make it work. So we determined that going up an additional story was easier to do that. And then it gives us the opportunity without the track to make a better entrance procession into the field. It will include this drop-off area with some handicap parking right near the field there for those activities also. Looking at a little bit of the detail of the track and field, again, we have the 8-lane track, we have the field event area off to the side, the high jump and the long jump. We have the steeplechase. Some schools don't put in steeplechases anymore, but the athletic director determined that they would because that lets you host sectional meets. The turf field inside here, and then bleachers, a small area of bleachers here, an area to be able to put up tents to house concessions. We didn't plan for a built concession stand at this site. An area where we're going to put in some toilet facilities. Once you have bleachers, state ed requires you to have toilet facilities out there. You can't use just portable toilets. And then we have a storage building here, and then lights for this field. Looking at the scope of work for the building of the middle school, the kitchen has not been renovated in this building for, I think it's over 30 years. It may have been even longer. I think it may have been 91 that the kitchen was renovated, and the actual walk-in cooler and freezer we think dates to the original construction in the 50s. So that's served you well there. At the same time, we're going to replace the cafeteria flooring and air condition the cafeteria. We'll be air conditioning the gymnasium. We'll look at some more details of the media center renovations here, as well as the health suite. And then the main entrance storefront we're going to replace, and then the faculty toilets in the 400 wing will be renovated. As with the high school work, this is a more detailed plan of the middle school media center work. A couple of the main things we're trying to achieve here is to get them an enclosed classroom off of the media center where they can take a class of kids in and work with them there and not have the noise disrupting the other activities of the media center. To do that, there's a number of special ed functions back in this area now, so we're going to move those up to the front off the corridor, give that more access for parents and stuff and people that have to come in to meet with those people. So there'll be the special ed TA office, the CSE office, then a library office and a library workroom, and really upgrade the media center at the middle school to a more 21st century media center. Again, just some renderings of what that may look like. Again, the amount of book stacks, they'll be along the walls. Use those to separate some of the different seating areas, a variety of seating for the students to use in the media center. A couple other renderings of what that may look like, and as you can see, the different types of seating, some small round tables, more traditional tables where they can work at computers, and the book stacks. And then this is the renovated nurse's office. It gives a 3 sick cot area, 2 nurse workstations, a fully handicapped accessible toilet room, a private exam room, and then a waiting area and triage area for students coming in to the nurse's suite. Moving on to work at the Wood Road Milton Terrace building. Again, quite a bit of air conditioning here. Again, the gym and the cafeterias are being air conditioned, as long as the special ed classrooms identified here and here in the 2 parts of the building. We're also going to renovate the toilet rooms in the Wood Road portion of the building, as well as renovate and enhance the little theater in that building. Looking at this overall site, and I've included Wood Road, Milton Terrace, Gordon Creek, and the maintenance building all on this site plan. So there's some areas of pavement that need to be replaced, namely the parking lot here, and then the part of the entrance drive for Gordon Creek. The hard surface play areas for both Wood Road and Milton Terrace need to have the pavement replaced. The sidewalks into the building for both Wood Road and Milton Terrace are going to be replaced. The lower field area, we're going to do some enhancements to that and some drainage improvements in that field because it gets pretty wet at times when we have rain, not lately, but when we have rain. Again, similar to the high school site, we're going to fence the full perimeter of this site between the neighboring property, and then we're planning an addition to the maintenance building to give the maintenance staff more space for storage and working on projects. Gordon Creek overall scope of work, again, mainly air conditioning, the gymnasium and the cafeteria, replacing the stage curtain, and then enclosing the second floor computer classroom from the media center to mitigate sound transmission between those spaces. It was partially enclosed, but it's still a sound issue there. Multi-avenue building scope, I didn't do a plan of this because there's 4 floors and like one thing on each floor, so I think that we can just go through a list here. Replace the district office roof, the air conditioning the gymnasium, air conditioning the cafeteria, air conditioning the auditorium, and the special ed classrooms, and then replace the hot water heater at Malta Avenue. Probably more importantly is some of the work we're going to do on the outside at Malta Avenue. The first thing is to replace some of the deteriorated sidewalks and pavement along the road here. We want to infill some of the sidewalk between the building and the current sidewalk. There's been some erosion there and some drop-off potential safety issues there. And it really can't get grass to grow because of the kids always running through there. So the plan there is to add pavement between the existing sidewalk and up to the building. Add another playground area in this area for Malta Avenue, and then the front playground, finish off fencing all the way around the front playground so that they can bring students in there and not have to worry about them running off because only along the road is currently fenced. In transportation, we have a significant area of repavement, both the driver lot and the areas directly around the transportation garage. Just for information, the main bus parking lot was overlaid a few years ago, so that's in better shape than the other parking areas. Item 2 on here is setting up to do the electric buses and the infrastructure to be able to do that. The plan right now is to provide enough capacity in this project to accommodate the buses planned to be purchased through the duration of this project in 2030 or 2031, be able to charge those, and then depending on what happens with the overall statewide electric bus program, if it continues on with the current schedule, then there'd have to be another project in 5 or 6 years to finish that off. But the plan right now is to put in all the conduits you'd need so that in the future it's pulling the wire and adding the actual chargers. And then there's some work on the lights and on the canopy for the fueling station. The grounds building, which is the old bus garage behind the middle school, we need to replace the roof on that building, replace the overhead doors, and install an oil water separator. And while I'm thinking about roofs, I didn't mention that we're replacing the roof on the high school building also. And actually, we're going to put an overlay, a liquid coating over the whole roof that you can still get another 15 to 20-year warranty on by doing that. We had the manufacturer of that system out here to look at it, make sure it was a good candidate. And he says yes, and we can save quite a bit of money proceeding that way. New building for the Eastern Avenue field to make it more useful and less conducive to, susceptible to flooding, depending on the storms that we've gotten. So that's being planned to be constructed next to the existing building that's out there. Will be available for district activities as well as other community activities at that field. So that kind of goes through the scope. Now just to look briefly at the big picture schedule for the project. So the pre-referendum schedule up until the vote, 2 weeks from today on September 17th, the plan is to set the final budget, talk about the tax impact, and then complete the SEEKR, State Environmental Quality Review Act process, which we're finalizing the work on that, and Chris Honeywell's working with us with the specific resolutions that are going to need to be passed relative to that. Then on October 1st, at a regular meeting, pass the actual resolution to set the vote date and finalize everything that's going to the public. And then the public referendum on December 9th. In between that October 1st and December 9th will be the public information period where we get information out to everybody to make sure they understand what the project is, what the costs are, and what the benefits are to the students and taxpayers of the district. Then once a successful vote happens on December 9th, we've broken the project into 4 different phases. Phase 1A, which we're going to get started on even before the vote, is to replace the cooling towers here at the high school. They are showing their age, and if they go down, you'll lose cooling to the building. So we want to make sure we can get those replaced as soon as possible. The plan right now is to replace those next summer to maintain the cooling there. The next phase, phase 1B, will be work at Wood Road, Milton Terrace, transportation, and constructing that new building at Eastern Avenue. We want to prioritize Wood Road and Milton Terrace because those are the 2 buildings that really have virtually no air conditioning in them. So we want to get some level of relief there on that front. And then transportation, because we need the electric bus charging capabilities to meet the buses that you're going to have to start buying in 2027 as only electric. So we have to have the capacity because, as Brian will tell you, they won't deliver them unless you can plug them in. So we got to get that work done, and then just so we can knock one off the list of the Eastern Avenue building and get that going. So the design on that will be from December when the vote passes through September. That's design and SED approval, and then we'll be bidding and awarding next fall for construction going forward on that. It'll take us 16 to 18 months to do all the construction there. Phase 2 will be the high school, middle school. That again will start design as soon as the vote passes through June of 27 as far as design and approval on that. Start construction or bid and award September through November of 27, and then start construction late 27, early 28 through 29 for all the work at the high school and middle school. And then the project schedule for the rest of the buildings, Malta Avenue, Gordon Creek, the grounds building, and the maintenance building. We'll start design on those after we finish the design of the high school. And you can see there the different dates there. So that work will be the last phase of the project with construction really in 2030 and 2031. Right now, all that work we talked about has a potential project cost range of between $60 and $63 million. We're fine-tuning a couple things, largely around the cost for the bus charging system. As you can imagine, that's a relatively new type of construction, and all the parts and pieces that have to go together there, and the level that we have to get to make that work. That's probably the biggest cost that we're still working out in the next couple of days there, and a couple other things that we're working on. That's why there's still a cost range for the project. And with that, we'll open it up for questions.
Well, thank you very much. That's very comprehensive. I'm sure we have questions. Who wants to start us off?
I
Sure,
just
yeah.
have one question with regards to the fields. Do we know at this moment what kind of turf will be installed at those fields?
We don't know exactly which manufacturer of turf. We haven't gotten to that point yet.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Katie.
I have a couple questions. The first question is about the wood line fencing, mostly at the elementary complex. It's my understanding that teachers take their kids on the trails back there sometimes. Is there going to be some sort of gate for the teachers to still be able to go back there, or?
Yeah, we'll work that out with whatever the curriculum side of thing needs to be to make access. And then it'll be an operational thing to make sure the gates are locked when you're not using them, or else you're going to defeat the purpose of the fencing.
Okay. And then as far as the weightlifting room, since that is being constructed outside of the original building, that cannot use capital funds. Is that correct? Or is
No, it can be constructed with capital funds.
Okay.
What happens is it's not eligible for building aid.
Okay,
Because the reason for that is they'll only give you building aid, the state has a formula, and they'll only give you building aid for a certain number of gym stations, and they consider a fitness center a gym station. So right now, overall, between the high school and middle school, you have 5 gym stations, at least 5. 2 in the middle school gym, 2 in the high school gym, and then the pool. And the state ed formula is 1 gym station for every 500 students. So unless you have more than 2,500 students between the high school and the middle school, you can't justify aid for an additional gym station.
okay, thank you.
Very important question. Do we have colored out for the turf by any chance?
No, we don't have a color for the turf or the track.
Other questions?
Another important variable detail, parking. So with all the changes on the track in the high school, is there a net gain, loss, or do the number of parking spaces stay the same?
We are not taking away any existing parking, and the parking where the tennis courts are now, I think is going to add 130 spaces, plus or minus.
I sort of have a similar question, but in regards to the high school auditorium, will the renovations increase seating or keep it the same?
It'll keep it the same unless we need to lose a couple seats to comply with current handicap seating regulations. I don't know if that's changed since it was built, but it would only be a couple here or there. There's no significant changes in the seating there.
I also know with that auditorium, I don't know if you guys have discussed this yet, maybe it's too early, but if there's a way that the seating could be in a slope or in a way where parents can actually see their students are on stage. I know that's a feedback we get often, that the performers who are sitting, because there's like 100 of them on stage, it's very difficult to see the students based on the seating that we have that's, like you said, over 30 years old. If there's modernized way of that level.
Without changing the structure of the auditorium, I'm not sure there's a way to change that.
Just for clarification, or you're just referencing kind of to the slope of it, that potentially when someone is in a seat, you can't see over them? Is that the discussion, or is it the sight line to the stage? Because, I mean, the sloping is, part of the infrastructure of the auditorium.
Yeah, I think the feedback has always been that the chorus students, because they're on risers that are stared up, you can see your students performing. But the band students who are all sitting on an equal level, there's a different level of sight when you're in the audience.
Oh, okay.
So I
So
was just
specifically
throwing
the
that out
pit
there.
area, which is not raised and is flat,
Right,
and then, okay.
just throwing it out. It might be too early to look into that, but just something I wanted to throw out there. I know
Okay.
it's a common factor, but I also know there's a big acoustics to a reasoning why band is all on an equal level too. So there's a lot more thought to it.
And my understanding is that, the interior design's potentially not thought of yet or looked at. I know for the Catch Me If You Can, they actually had the band in a multi-tiered section, like off to the side of the stage, in which case there was levels, and there would be better sight lines for the pit people. But again, I don't think that we're there yet. And regarding seating, one of the goals is to make a permanent kind of set off media section for the soundboards and the light boards and the controllers. And now we have sections, kind of taped off, and they've put, basically boards over the top of seats to try and give themselves that area. So we want to make a dedicated area for the AV work in the back of the theater, and that could potentially impact some of the seating, in that back section, I think. But I don't think any of that's finalized yet. And I've seen in other districts, in very, very nice setups where in the back of the theater they have that dedicated space for the AV section, and they actually have roll-top desks that come down and then lock. So all of the important equipment and everything can get all locked up when it's not being used, et cetera. So, it's gonna be a lot of good improvements that way. Other questions?
You're in the auditorium, so we're just not there yet.
Correct.
Okay. So I have a couple of questions. The new wellness center, fitness center, adjacent to the band practice room. I think that it would be important for a lot of thought to go into soundproofing between the two. Because I can see, Sousa in the band room and potentially something maybe a little bit louder and a little bit more modern being played in the fitness center. And I know when the athletic teams are using them for their weight workouts, et cetera, they like inspiring music, shall we say. So I think a lot of thought needs to go to soundproofing in that particular area. And I don't know if that's been thought of yet.
Well, not in detail, but since it's going to be basically we're going to have two concrete block walls, the existing exterior wall and then another interior concrete block wall, I'm confident we can mitigate any sound concerns there.
We should partner with athletics about their inspiring noises, because I think we want the best possible environment for everyone out there. So I could see that. Outside of the high school, middle school, the field work, so is the thought that the all-purpose field or the field inside of the track, that would actually be available for like varsity game events and things of that nature as well? Would that only be a practice field? Is any thought been given to that?
It'll be able to be used for games. Originally, we were going to move the main football field there too, but then we decided that that's a long way from the main parking, and that's the games that you get the majority of your spectators at. But no, any of the fields, either of the fields will probably be able to be used for any of the sports.
Okay. And so then I think we may be at a little bit of a net loss for practice fields for the various teams. And I don't know what's been thought of in terms of making sure that we have enough practice fields.
Well, the thing is that we're losing the space where the tennis courts are going to be built. That's the only space that we're really, well, there may be a little bit more practice space back where the track's going. But right now, the main field doesn't get used for anything other than games, from what I understand. Mm-hmm. With it being turf, you'll be able to use that for practice. And you'll be able to schedule practice, because you'll have two fields with lights on them that can be scheduled for practice as late as you want to use them. So I think that it may just be the athletic director working out the practice schedule more than the field space issue.
Okay. And I did see it looked like there was a driveway going to the track and multi-purpose field in the back there. Will there be any handicap parking there? Is that going to be a road for vehicles? Will that only be for like golf carts and things to get people back there?
Well, one of the main things is it will be able for vehicles because we've got to be able to get an ambulance back to that field if we need to. So that will be the case. As far as handicap parking, we're planning a few handicap parking spots here so they can be used for both the track and the tennis courts.
Okay. So if that's going to be meant to be vehicular traffic, et cetera, I think it just has to have all of the, curbs, lighting, et cetera, et cetera. We have to make sure that's as safe as possible, because it seems like there's going to be a mixture of foot traffic and the potential vehicular
Vehicle.
traffic.
And probably from an operational standpoint, since it's the only parking that's going to be back there will be handicapped, we're probably just going to gate it at the end. Whoop, keep doing that. We'll probably just, we'll probably gate it up here somewhere. And so somebody's going to have a handicap pass or have the need to get back there, not just going to leave it open and let anybody try to drive back there.
So it just sounds like-
Because we know what will happen is somebody will say, well, I drove back there and I parked on the grass type thing, so.
So, Dr. Duca, we're just going to have, appropriate staffing, personnel, et cetera, to deal with all that. And then can you flip forward through the slides, right? No, one more. One more. Yeah. Okay, I see what it is now. I got it. Okay. And then, just so we're clear, the board approval of the project, is that the 9/17 date or is that the 10/1 date? Because the 10/1 date was definitely like setting the public vote, but I didn't know if that was also the board approval date on the 10/1 date.
On the 9/17, the formal action the board will take at that point in time is to approve the seeker resolution. I believe that'll be the only formal action the board will take then. And then on October 1st will be the date when you take the official action to set the vote date, set the vote amount, and pass the bond resolutions that need to be passed at that point in time.
So just if everyone knows, like our questions, thoughts, further feedback, et cetera, we're working towards that 10/1 date. And then, and I don't know if this is a question for Mr. Siriani, but is the phasing of it, does that have any financial component and/or state reimbursement component to it?
It has both, and those are being worked on. In fact, I have a meeting with some of our advisors tomorrow morning, and also we've been meeting weekly, and we've worked out the schedule of the projects, and we have to work out when the final cost reports go in, because that dictates when the building aid starts.
Okay, so just for everyone's knowledge, there's not only the logistical construction pieces of ordering materials, having workers around, et cetera, to the phasing, but there's also a financial component to that, to, I'm sure, try and maximize aidable funds as much as possible. I think that's all I had. Any other questions, comments? It's very exciting. And again, I think to our community, part of the promotion and the communications are that we really are trying to have improvements in many different areas. Many academic improvements actually happened in the last capital project, where we were modernizing classrooms, getting rid of the 1958 sinks in the science rooms in the middle school, and doing the work at some of the other buildings. And so now, besides roofs, it's time to look at some of the outside components of this as well, and some of the larger spaces, libraries, auditoriums, gymnasiums, and the kitchens. The kitchen from the old high school, now our middle school, clearly, as he said, it has served us well. So, okay, is everyone comfortable? All right.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. That does conclude tonight's superintendent's report.
Okay, thank you. Do we have committee reports tonight? Don't think so. Correspondence to the district.
We had 4 total this time period. 1 email regarding transportation, 2 calls regarding transportation, and 1 call regarding a student matter.
All right, and there were 3 emails to the board since the last meeting, 1 regarding the district website, 1 regarding district policies, 1 regarding transportation. And we have announcements. Ms. Delaney Elliott.
Good evening. As we know, tomorrow's the first day of classes for all of our students. On Saturday, the towns of Malta and Milton are both holding community days with various events throughout the day. September 8th, Gordon Creek is hosting a kindergarten Meet the Teacher night. September 10th, Early College High School will be hosting a Meet the Teacher night for grades 10 through 12. September 12th is our first varsity home football game. September 16th, Malta Avenue is having a PTA meeting. September 17th, Milton Terrace is hosting a Meet the Teacher night, and it's also our next Board of Ed meeting.
Thank you very much. Any old business? Old business from the district? Board members? Okay. On to new business. May I have a motion to approve resolution number 151, award of bid, top dressing?
So moved.
Any discussion? Not hearing any. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Resolution number 151 passes. I have a motion to approve, for resolution number 152, award of bid custodial supplies. We have a mistake in the wording. It references the prior school year, so we need an amendment to make that change to say for the 2025-2026 school year. So may I have a motion to amend resolution number 152, award of bid custodial supplies, update the language to say 2025-2026.
So moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Resolution number 152, award of bid custodial supplies is amended to reference the 2025-2026 school year. May I have a motion to approve resolution number 152, award of bid custodial supplies?
So moved.
Any discussion? Not hearing any. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Resolution 152 is passed. I have a motion to approve resolution number 153, award of bid, special transportation.
So moved.
Any discussion? Not hearing any. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Resolution number 153 is approved. I have a motion to approve resolution number 154, agreement, professional services.
So moved.
Any discussion? Not hearing any. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Resolution number 154 is approved. I have a motion to approve resolution number 155, agreement, professional services.
So moved.
Any discussion? Not hearing any. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Resolution number 155 passes. I have a motion to approve resolution number 156, agreement, shared services.
So moved.
Any discussion? Not hearing any. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? God bless you. Resolution number 156 passes. I have a motion to approve resolution number 157, placement of students with disabilities.
So moved.
Any discussion? Not hearing any. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Resolution number 157 passes. Resolutions number 158 through 174 are recognized as a consent agenda for the purpose of Board of Education action. I have a motion to approve the consent agenda, resolutions number 158 through 174.
So moved.
Any discussion? Not hearing any. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Consent agenda resolutions number 158 through 174 passes. Do we have anyone to recognize? Okay. Any other new business? Okay. Do we have any comment, public statement from any of our associations in attendance? Yes? I'm sorry, are you from the public comment or from our associations? Oh, yeah. Sure, come on up. Welcome.
I'll be brief. Thank you.
No, please.
Good evening. My name is John Bory. I'm the new president of the Milton Terrace PTA. I just want to introduce myself and say if there's anything that I can do or the PTA to further the goal of the district, feel free to reach out. We're at mtepta@yahoo.com. Thank you, everybody.
Welcome. Wonderful, thank you. Any other associations comment? No, thank you. All right. So, high school PTA reports. I've got a few comments. Our high school PTSA, they're meeting Tuesday, September 16th at 7 p.m. This will be a virtual meeting. Our middle school PTA hosting a swag sale, direct quote, marketing, swag sale, through September 19th. Our Gordon Creek PTA, their first PTA meeting of the year, will be held on Thursday, September 11th at 7 p.m. That meeting will be held virtually. Our Malta Avenue PTA, Tuesday, September 16th at 6:30 p.m. That will be virtual. For Milton Terrace, we just heard from our president and have just a few updates. They had their popsicles on the playground event for incoming kindergartners last week. Their ice cream social was this afternoon. We have ice cream for everyone. And they're hosting an apparel store through September 24th. And they have a meeting Wednesday, October 8th at 6 p.m. in the Milton Terrace cafeteria. I have a note that says pizza is included. And they're having a trunk or treat event on Saturday, October 18th. And our Wood Road PTA, their meeting is Thursday, September 25th. More information about virtual meeting links, et cetera, will be coming out, I'm sure, from the PTAs before the meetings. Now we're at our second time for public comment. Do we have anyone signed up for public comment? And we do. Thank you. And so, as I always do, I will read our guidance on public participation at meetings. The Board of Education welcomes district residents, parents, and other interested persons to its meeting. Community involvement at board meetings is encouraged so that the board can better understand and represent the views of its constituents. Please be aware, however, that information such as individual student information or particular personnel issues cannot be discussed at public sessions of the board. Speakers will be called upon individually. When recognized by the board president, asked to approach the podium, state your name and residence. Statements are restricted to a maximum of 2 minutes. Speakers will be notified by the board president when his or her time is expired. In general, at the 2-minute mark, I just ask for please to finish up your comments. The board and the district staff take public comment very seriously. However, the board will not respond to comments or questions during the public comment period. The board asks the public's cooperation in maintaining a safe and respectful environment, and the board president reserves the right to limit individual comments if it is deemed necessary. To achieve this, speakers will please not make slanderous attacks on any group, organization, or individual, a member of the board, an employee of the district, a member of the audience, or a member of the public. They will please not use profane, vulgar, threatening, or disparaging language or racial or ethnic slurs. And please not disrupt the meeting with loud outbursts or other disruptive conduct or behavior, either during the speaker's assigned time or at any other time during the meeting. Speakers understand that a failure to comply with these rules for maintaining a respectful and productive environment may result in early termination of the speaker's allotted time, a denial of future requests to speak, and any other actions deemed necessary by the president of the board, or where appropriate in a matter of health or safety measures, the superintendent of schools. So our first commenter is Ms. Avenarius, and you may please approach the podium. The privilege of the floor is yours.
Hi, good evening. Karen Avenarius. Do I need to state my address or no?
Hello.
Do I need to state my address? Yes. 10 East High Street. Thank you, everyone who's here. I appreciate your time to the board. I have a couple questions. I watched August board meeting, and you talked about teachers and staff writing referrals, and I was wondering if there was a training process on that, so maybe referrals aren't subjective and they're truthful and factual. The other thing that was mentioned in an early August meeting is that your administrators are getting trained in TCIS training, which is a great training. I'm just wondering when the staff will be, because they're the ones that directly relate to the students, and I think that would be a beneficial training for all staff. And then when you look at the referrals, because you had a whole show on the different referrals and what the kids were doing, did you look at, for the administration that has actually been through the TCIS training, look at how much of the referral process has actually been staff initiated, where the kid might have gotten more upset due to the staff interaction, because that's definitely a situation when you go through TCIS training, you see that sometimes the adults are the ones that initiate some of the problem. So those are some of the things that I was interested in, especially since we just got our tax bill. So I'm hoping they're going to do more training. The other thing is that I just heard today, I know in the spring when we had the meetings talking about the budget, I was at the Milton meeting, and I specifically asked, because I'm very concerned that the librarian didn't get replaced, and I was concerned with a lot of shortage of staff and subs to make sure that the library did not get closed. And I know I was told at that meeting that the library wouldn't be closed, and I just heard tonight that on Fridays at Gordon Creek, no students will be able to use the library. That's a little concerning, because that's now children not having access to books and not having the opportunity to develop the love of reading, and that's only going to move that along to upper grades. And it's also a disservice to the Gordon Creek students in comparison to the other buildings. Thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much for your comments. The board will get back to you. All right, that was our only public comment. So our next meeting will be Wednesday, September 17th. We do have reason to go into executive session tonight. We will not be returning to open session afterwards. I need a motion to adjourn to executive session to discuss the employment of particular persons.
So moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you all for watching on the live stream. Thank you all who are here in attendance in person.